All right, guys, back for another edition of Five for Friday. Ran a Twitter poll yesterday as far as what people want to hear about. Movies ended up winning. Rockwood High School came in second place. So next week I'll probably do a top five about Rockwood for a various topic. But today we'll be ranking the top five movies according to myself. If there's some movies you don't agree with or you think my list tends to skew newer, like Coach K accused me of being a little younger, so my movie selections may not be as good. But we'll go through my top five, ranking five to one. Feel free to comment or leave suggestions as far as your favorites, or you can make recommendations as to what we do in the future. So starting with number five on our poll, we're going to go with For Love of the Game, starring Billy Chapel himself, Kevin Costner. Great movie about a pitcher who is trying to defy the odds and has one last moment left in him, and all the things that led up to it. Reviewing his entire career along the way leading up to this moment. Just a great movie for sports fans. Highly recommend it. Also, guys, if you need an excuse to watch a movie for date night, it's got some romance in there. So a good movie for both crowds. Number four, we're going to go with a movie I show in my economics classes called The Martian, starring Matt Damon. It's just an awesome movie. We use it to talk about supply and demand, rationing, things like that. But for the most part, it's just fun to watch a human evolve in a situation where they have to make choices that are going to affect them, and what you have to do in survival situations. So it's just got a lot of drama in it. It leaves you hanging on. There's a lot of science in it, so a lot of different topics that make it very interesting. Number three for me is Avengers Endgame. As a Marvel fan, watching just all of the films lead up to this moment, it was just it was great. It made the journey very worthwhile. To see these characters evolve over time and to change, and then what happens in the end, and as we move forward, just the culmination of all these stories, all these filmmakers coming together. It's awesome. It does a lot of fan service. So if you're a Marvel fan, you see a lot of things that you may have been expecting over the course of the time. And so I think that's what makes it great is, it's hitting a core audience. And even if you don't know anything about Marvel, if you've hung around and watched some of the films, you kind of know the drama and the build-up. So it really ties two universes together. Number two for me is a classic, Tom Cruise and A Few Good Men. Great movie, a lot of drama, a lot of back and forth. A young lawyer kind of building up a case against one of the most revered leaders in the military. And so you see this back and forth where he has to take risks and chances, and you see that with like Demi Moore's character, who he picks to help him out, and then even a great appearance by Kevin Bacon as the lawyer opposite him, and then Jack Nicholson as Colonel Nathan Jessup. It's a great movie. Highly recommend for you if you haven't seen it. I can't imagine there's that many people who haven't seen A Few Good Men. And that leads us to number one. And if you've ever had my class before, I think we've talked about it every once in a while. But my number one movie is Shawshank Redemption. Just Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman do an amazing job as Andy and Red. Just about someone who has been put in a crazy situation where they've been accused of killing their wife, even though they didn't do it. And then kind of the bond that Andy builds with the people who are also in jail with him, and just the struggle and the culmination of essentially all these situations coming together. It's a great movie. There are some rough patches in it. I'm not going to lie, uh, but it's such a redeeming story, and one that I think ultimately relies on friendship and the bonds that you create with the people around you. Um, so if you haven't seen these movies, I imagine you've seen most of them. But while we're going through our social distancing, recommend sitting down and watching any of them, and I think you'll really enjoy those. Appreciate your attention for today's video. I know that my updates aren't as regular as Coach K's reading of the menus and announcements, but hopefully it's a little entertaining for the weekend. Hope you have a good weekend, and we'll catch you again next Friday.